All right, so let's do. Let's try to crank out this one about the car counts.
Okay.
So I thought about this because of that Bandolero car count was terrible. I immediately thought of you when you said that you came with Emma several years ago, right? And there was 3 trucks.
Yeah.
And they canceled the race.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why they weren't canceling that race.
Yeah.
So
it's a tough call for Williams.
When Mitch made the post, he called it an exhibition, I think. And I don't know what that means. Like, as a statistical historian, am I counting that as a win or is it an exhibition? Like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. And I mean, I know you got to be sensitive to the 2 teams that paid money to get in, whatever.
Right.
I would refund their tickets and say sorry. I mean, you're still putting on a show. A 2-car race is not a show. Nobody wants to watch that.
Right.
Nobody, and no one, as a fan.
Well, I mean, at least cut the race in half.
I
thought they did.
I think
did?
they did. I think they made it. I think it was a 10-lap race.
Dude, I watched no part of it.
I mean, why would you?
Right.
That must be nice.
Yeah, Remy filmed it because I made the mistake of not telling her you don't have to film that.
Yeah.
And she filmed it, but yeah.
It's too bad because for that one particular division, it was really strong at one time.
Yeah.
And it's gone down
It's
the
got
shitters.
nothing.
But, I mean, if the trucks were at that same spot 5 years ago,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if you would have told them not to show up and deleted the division, I think you would have lost one of the best divisions there. I don't know if it's the best division this year, but over the past couple, 3 or 4, I thought it's been one of the better watched.
No, you're right. They have rebounded, and that's the other part of the argument you got to remember. Is
You
like,
have to
right,
remember.
if they got
right?
rid of the trucks, we wouldn't have one of the best divisions.
That's
now.
right.
But I feel like Pomfret has had a little bit of a resurgence here in recent years, and obviously Stafford's thing on Monday night is amazing.
Strong.
And what Johnny Morgillo's doing with Silver City is
I
resurgence as well. And I feel like the bandos just aren't a path people are taking anymore.
There's nobody leading the way for them,
Yeah.
right? They're like on their own island. Inex is in North Carolina. They don't care,
Yep.
right? They need, I mean, especially since Melania has left. I mean, I don't know any of the kids in that division. It's too damn bad.
The only one I knew was Taylor Moran's kid there, Connor. I forget her married name.
Yep.
Doyen, I think.
Yep.
And he didn't even race because she
Right.
was in the Hauer, and she's like, "No, he didn't. He's not racing." And I was like, "Oh, so we're down to 2."
Right.
It's like, what do we do?
I mean, what do you do?
I'm telling you.
I mean, maybe you cancel them
I would
for
have
that show.
canceled the race. I would have refunded their money.
Yeah.
And said, "Sorry, but we're putting on a show. We can't have a 2-car race."
Yeah.
I mean, that's
probably the right thing. I mean, they did it to the trucks
Yeah.
on a regular Saturday night.
yeah. Did they refund your money when they canceled the
No.
race? No.
Nope. Did they? I don't think they did.
Or at least give a voucher for.
They may. I mean,
give a voucher for a free
they
admission
may have
or
given us a
something.
voucher. I mean, I take that back.
Yeah.
They may have
That's
given
probably
us.
the smart thing to do. Is
They
to
may
give
have
a
given
voucher
us a free pass
Right.
for the next week. You guys
Yeah.
want to come and watch? It's on us.
Yep.
But you don't know where that division's going to be in 3 years or 4 years from now. Because just like the Pomfret and the Wild Things is just strong because there's just everything Stafford does is strong,
Yeah.
right?
But what about, like, where's the line? Like, at what point? Like, I know the trucks rebounded, but you don't want to watch a 2-car Bandolero race in the hopes that they're going to turn it around.
So what do you
2
do
years.
so you're saying like on Wednesday night if there's 3 cars?
Well, like I said in the video we did a while back, if you can't average double-digit car counts for the season, I'd put everybody on notice. If your division,
That's hard to do.
yeah, but at least you're giving them notice. You're saying if your division, you're on the schedule for the year, and if your division does not average double-digit car counts for the entirety of the season, then we're getting rid of the division.
That's tough.
I know, but
You couldn't do that.
why not?
There's no way, dude.
Why? You think Stafford would keep a division if they had 9 cars?
They did at one time in the limited late models. There was like nothing.
They were down to that low?
They were low. There wasn't many cars. There might have been 10, 9, weren't they? Do you guys ever remember that or no?
That was before my time.
I thought it was bad. Maybe I'm wrong. It was
I mean,
pretty
I
bad.
just watched some of
possible.
the. I watched some of the divisions at Monadnock with the tour race, and they were pretty bad. The mini stocks had
Dude,
7 cars.
How about this? I went to Washington State.
Yeah.
There's a drag strip on what's called State Line Speedway.
Yep.
Drag strip on one side, circle track on the other. They got both going. The drag strip is full. I went over to State Line. Me and Sean go over and watch. There's 4 divisions.
Yep.
There was like 9 cars total for all 4 divisions.
Wow. Yikes.
That's
Yeah.
no lie. And there were people
Yikes.
in the stands.
Come on. Really?
I'm just telling you.
I'm looking at
That's
the
how it was.
the limited late stuff.
Yeah.
Stafford 2019. They only had 4 cars run all 20 races at one
No,
point.
but look, I mean, if you
yeah,
look,
but you can't go by that. I
yeah,
mean,
but if you look back
how
at
many,
like
how many cars got
look
points?
at a race in 2016. How many cars did they have? I mean, could you pick out a random race in 2016 or 15? Or maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was a real weak division and they kept it.
In 2016, they had way more cars running the full season. It looks like
Okay, well maybe I'm wrong.
But what was the season that you did before that? 2019?
2019. Yeah. So I'll put it this way: only 7 cars ran at least half the season.
Okay, so yeah, you may be on to something there.
But I mean, again, 2 cars is a lot different than them running like 8 to 10
But
cars.
Sid said double digits. That
Yeah.
sucks to the guys that like me that are building a car. Because if you did that to the late models, we wouldn't race,
I think you got to get 8. I think you got to average 8. 8 or up.
But
right? And then you really
but
kill the
if
division
it-
for life.
yeah, but if that division's gone, it's not like you couldn't sell an ACT car because they run at Seekonk, they run
Yeah.
at Thompson, they run all throughout New England, and
Yeah.
then you say, okay,
I mean, I see your point.
the
I mean,
trucks are going to be the new second
is that
tier
what
division.
you would do as a promoter? If you were the promoter?
At the Speedbowl, I would have less divisions for sure.
Oh yeah.
I would get rid of the Wednesdays, and I would have like 5 divisions at the bowl. I mean, we kind of already talked.
You would
about
get
this
rid of
before.
Wednesdays completely?
If it, I don't see. I personally don't know how that makes money. And like Mitch said, they pay the whole field now. I didn't even know that,
Right.
and I didn't think it made money before I knew that. I mean, I just don't think it makes money.
Dude, that's such a tough call. Such a tough call. On
I mean,
car
I know
counts.
that that's like their own kind of thing. What I would do is, I would make it like, you got to combine like the street stocks now are like them and the trucks. To me, that's like the same kind of division now.
Almost.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got to make one division out of that. You make one division out of the mini stocks and the X cars, and the legend cars. I mean, there's not a lot of them, but I would have those, and then I would have enduros
So,
like one Sunday a month. Have those like 6 times a year,
yeah.
and have 4-cylinder, 8-cylinder enduros. You want to do the legends, fine, and then that open street stock outlaw thing, whatever that is. Like have it like a family fun thing once a month on a Sunday.
Right.
But I wouldn't do it weekly all throughout the summer on Wednesday.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense
On-
to me.
On the flip side, because we've had this discussion in our race shop, like, are we going to race the full season if there's only like 7 late models show up?
I know.
Right. So this is what we've had this discussion.
What did they have? 8?
There was 9,
I had
10.
9.
There was 11 originally. The kid Joe LeMay, throttle hung wide open. He broke his ankle Friday.
Oh, yikes. Okay.
Right. The one car of what's his name? Damn it.
Corey Fanning. Yeah, what happened to him?
No, he didn't race.
Oh, he didn't race?
Well, he was the fastest car all weekend until they went and checked his motor. He had a 604, unsealed,
Yeah.
with no restrictor plate.
Oh yeah, someone was telling me about that. I don't remember who
I
they
mean, the
were.
dude is. I mean, listen, I like the guy,
Yeah.
but the motor is like. I mean, let's just put a big block in the bitch and hope they don't get us.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much. But he was fast,
Yeah.
and then they wouldn't let him run because he didn't conform to the rules.
Yeah, right.
That's like letting some outlaw come into the street stocks and let them stink up the show.
So they're what, down to 9? Was it 9?
I thought there
that
was
started?
8 cars.
I feel like it was
9?
more than 8. I think it was
I'm
9.
going to look it up right now.
But-
I should
but-
have printed out the results. Sorry about that. I meant
But
to
the
do that.
thing is, the late model race was a pretty good race.
No, it was.
best-
For 8 cars.
No,
I would say
So it's
agree.
hard
Up to
to
the top.
say that goes against your thing.
No, I know. I understand that. But if you got rid of the ACT late models and I mean, you'd have to have the discussion with the competitors. But if you got rid of the ACT late models, trying to think who's in, like, what's Jason Palmer going to do? He's only going to run the Speedbowl.
Right.
So he would have to make a decision whether he's going to stop racing or
Right.
buy an SK Light or do a truck or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, you are taking that risk with somebody like Kim for sure. Yeah, there's going to be. I'm not saying that you're going to make that change and everyone's going to love it. There's going to be some pain to it, but you know when they've done this before. I mean, when they got rid of the mods and the Roots came in with the SK mods, everybody hated the SK mods. Bob Potter couldn't stand them. Tommy Fox, who had one career win, was like, I'm not running an SK mod. It'd be like if they got rid of the SKs and said, well, SK Lights are the new headline division.
Right.
You know, like, I mean, you have to make change. It's going to be painful for some people, but I'm always thinking about the show. And right now they have, between Wednesday and Saturday, they have 11-point divisions, and half of them don't average over 10 cars. I mean, that's just simple math. That's
Right.
You have too many divisions. So I think people would conform to it. You know, when they made the X
What
mods,
would
SK
you-
Lights, no one said, "Oh, you can't do that." What are we,
What would you
Stafford
do
now?
with the
They got
Wednesday,
SK Lights.
What would you do with the Wednesday night cars? Tell them that, I mean, because they can't really run them anywhere, and a lot of guys have. I mean, they have a full field, right? I mean, these Super X cars.
I mean, I
there's-
don't know enough about it under the hood, but you couldn't make some rule variants somewhere in
Yeah,
between
you would try.
X cars?
Would you try to do that, or they have a full field? So they have.
Who does the X cars?
I think Super X, don't they? They have probably 18 cars, 17 cars show up.
It is weird though. I wonder if like killing divisions would explicitly mean that more cars would show up to the other divisions, or if it
How
would
about
just
you-
mean
how about
overall
you-
less cars.
I mean, I hate to keep freaking giving Stafford a load of credit, but I can't help it. They've got minimal divisions
Yep.
Yeah.
and packed
Right.
and race one night a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Full track, yeah.
Yes.
So the can I? So the Super X cars, they had 11 cars.
Oh, this weekend?
Yeah.
I look at an event last
And
year.
the X
though.
cars had 10. So you're right. That means that maybe not all the Wednesday people are coming.
Right.
So that's probably a bad.
And it's early. I mean, this is like a month before their opener.
They don't.
Really only 10 X cars?
Yeah.
I swear they had like 20 for every show last year.
That's
feel
what I
like.
thought,
That-
too.
I know,
They
but
were
that's a
banging last
Wednesday.
year.
This is their season hasn't started yet.
Right.
I honestly don't know why they had all those cars there. They didn't need any of the Wednesday night cars for this
They
weekend.
definitely didn't need bandos.
I don't know
That-
why they
that-
did that.
That's they all think that that's the cool thing to do is have a 2-day show and put the Wednesday cars in there.
That's so bad.
Right.
That should have been a 2-day show. It should have just been a Saturday, Sunday.
They should have had, in my opinion, they should have had Saturday, and they should have had the Streeters would be the headline race on Saturday, and then maybe you do the Legend cars and maybe the mini stocks and what's that? 3 features. So you do all qualifying and those 3 features. Maybe throw the SK Lights in there too.
Right.
And then on Sunday, you'd have the MRS, the SKs, the late models, and the mini stocks.
Right.
A four, and that's what they used to have.
Yep.
When Terry did that, he would have it was a 100-lap SK race. Remember, 100-lap late models and 50 and 50.
Yep.
And sometimes the NEMA midgets were there.
Right.
Yep. And then on Saturday, it was like the Chris Carell trucks and the Legend cars,
Yep.
and those were the features.
It'd be fun to make a schedule, though, right? I mean, you'd have to rack
I've
your
done it.
brain. You have?
I did a few years ago, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be racking your brain like, God, is that going to work?
Yeah.
Oh, move this to that.
And it's hard too now because like a rain out causes so much chaos now. That's why I think, Stafford was so trying to get that in and the Speedbowl the same thing is because to reschedule now,
Right.
like this coming weekend is one of the few weekends when there's nothing happening. But like when it comes to the modifieds, it's almost like there's always a tour.
Yeah.
Or if the MRS is relevant again now, I guess TBD, Tri-Track Series, Open 80 at Stafford, Open Show at Thompson, Open Wheel
Right.
Wednesday. There's always some race going on, and you don't want to schedule against those things. There's not a lot of flexibility. So I don't know. I just feel like. I would have put the Bandolero teams on
Could you
notice
imagine?
last year.
Could you imagine the Speedbowl? They used to have the thing on Fridays, too? The stupid drag racing?
Oh yeah, right.
Ha!
I would have.
Sean hated it. He's
Was
like,
that
he had
during-
to be there.
Yeah.
He's like, God, it would kill him. I think.
Did they make money for that?
I don't even know
I
because
think
it was
they just leased it out or something.
it was free to get in.
Yeah.
At the Speedbowl, I mean, they had to turn a light on. They had to do.
Did they have concessions?
I think they did, and there had to be some people there. So I mean, you're open.
I mean, do you have a number? If I was to say to you, what is the fewest amount? If you're a promoter of a track, what's the fewest amount of cars you would allow to hold a feature event? You have a number?
I would say 6.
4.
4?
Hickory
Yeah.
has 4.
Okay, but all right.
In 2 divisions.
All right, I understand you're dropping a lot of tracks that do it, but like to me, that still doesn't make it right. That's still not a good show.
Yeah.
That just means there's a lot of bad shows across the country. That's what I feel
it's
like.
trending. Right. So I mean, what are you going to do? Do I agree with you that they need to combine some divisions? Certainly. Do the tracks need to get on the same wavelengths so guys can run multiple tracks? Certainly. That may never happen.
But I mean, if you're a fan, now flip it to you're a fan. And you're a fan and you sit down to watch a race and 6 cars come out, what's your reaction going to be?
I hope this is good.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to roll my eyes and sigh.
That's not what you want your fans thinking. Now, you're right. It may be, like I just told the story last week. You only need 2. You only need something to watch. Dennis Gator told me that. And we kind of saw it with Andrew Moeller and Jason Palmer.
That's what I'm saying.
That was an awesome race.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
but, I mean, they were 8 or 9. I can see your point.
I mean, they said, I'm just going to go back to Loudon.
Yep.
The 604s. There
Yep.
was 5 cars. They say it was one of the best races of the weekend.
Yeah, I didn't see that. The top 3 were all battling, though?
The whole time. And I didn't watch it, but everybody on social media said it was one of the must-see races of the weekend. There was 5 cars.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right? There was 5 cars. So who are you and I to make the judge on if it's going to be a good show?
Like if it's 2, like this weekend.
Well, I mean, like,
that's,
2
you
is
have
different.
To, like, get rid of that.
2 is
I
different.
mean, I would've-
3 is different.
I don't know when they ran it, but I would have said, like, that they should have ran that, like, before the national anthem. Like, that's not part of the show. You guys want to go out? Okay, you're going to go out now, get it over with, ride around for 10 laps.
Right.
Whatever. And then we'll do
But
opening
you can't make them
ceremonies.
feel quite like that.
Why?
You can't do that to
No,
them. It's
dude.
not their fault.
No. It's not. This isn't a sympathy game, though, bro. I'm putting on a show.
Yeah, I know. But you have to have you have to have some sort of heart. If you're just a douche to them, they'll never come back.
Yeah, but if you're talking nice to them, if you're not going to be like, well no, there's 2, it's going to be a
I
race.
feel bad so I get it. I'm with you,
I
Sid.
would
Like,
tell
you
them
have
that
to tell them.
You're gonna say, like, just because you don't want to be a douche, like, I'm sorry if you think I'm a douche, but I have paying customers that coming in,
Right.
and they're not here to see a 2-car race.
No,
That's just the
No,
hard facts of life.
I
I'm
agree.
sorry,
No,
you know?
listen, I definitely agree.
You can still give them the track time, but
Yeah.
you gotta.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just meant the way that it was presented to them because it's not their fault that nobody else is coming
I understand, right? It's not their fault, but it's
because
not-
they're there.
correct. But just because those 2, like, you can't worsen your show because
Yeah.
of 2 race teams that.
What
showed
is
up.
the minimum? What is the minimum cars then? You think it's 6 or 8?
I would do 6.
I would lean more towards 6 or 8 than 4. Yeah.
I definitely think if it's under 8 cars, you got to like have the race. Slash that.
I feel like
I
with 6, you can
think-
still have a good race.
I think under 4 or 5, then you have to consider it. If
I
you have
I
at least
just wouldn't
4 or
want to
5
watch a feature with
guys,
5. Not a 25 lap feature with 5 cars. If it was 5 late models, I just couldn't. Like, let's say Palmer
That's the other
or Moeller
thing.
wasn't there. That would have been terrible.
The late models, I don't know why they're still 30 laps.
right?
They should
Yep.
be 25 laps like every other division.
Agree.
Well, because it was one of their premier divisions forever.
I know, right?
It was.
But there should be, right, at like under 10 cars, you should reduce the laps or something,
Yeah,
as like the first step instead of cutting the
Right.
division or axing
Right.
the feature. But
yeah. I don't. It's a damn shame, but it's a tough call if you're the promoter
yeah.
to say if there's 5 cars, say, hey, listen, you guys got to go home. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Right? I mean, that's you risk of them never coming back. I don't know if that's it. I don't know if
See,
that's
this
a
is
chance.
perfect because you have in your DNA the race team perspective.
Right.
And I have in my DNA the
Yeah,
fan
yeah.
perspective,
Yeah.
which is I don't want to have a bunch of people sitting in my stand saying, why do I got to watch this 2-car race?
Yeah.
Why do I got to watch this 5-car race?
Right.
You know? And your perspective is, we put all this work to bring our race car here to race, and now you're telling me I can't race. You know? I don't know if there is a right answer, but...
I don't think there is.
Yeah, you're probably right. But as a promoter, I would make some hard decisions, and I think even if... I would take the risk that even if those 2 race teams thought I was a jerk off or was an
How about
asshole.
this?
Wait, hold on, let me finish. If I would take the risk that those 2 might be mad at me, but I would take the risk that the rest of the people would say, "Oh, he's got high standards for the show. That's cool. That's a place I want to race. If there's not enough cars, he's looking to have a better product overall, and that's a good thing." I would take that calculated risk.
You would?
Yeah,
I don't think that risk would work.
I think it would.
What, you think guys are just going to show up from nowhere and say, "Oh, he's serious. Let's go race there"?
No, it's one of those things where, like, if you say, when you start making tough calls on the racetrack, and then you're going to piss people off, but eventually they're going to understand what your philosophy is, and they're going to either conform to it or race somewhere else. It's kind of that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, here's the standards here. We're only having features that have whatever the number
You know
is.
what? You know what you might have to do. Here's what you possibly could do, Sid. Is those guys that showed up, you were going to pay a purse for them if there was 5, so there's only 3. Maybe because they made the effort and showed up, listen, you're not going to race tonight, but each of you are going to get $250
Yeah.
for showing up,
Yep.
right? Or $300, because the purse was really going to be $675 to win. So there's 3 we're going to give you each $225,
Yep.
right?
I would do that and, like, comp everybody
That's
on the
right.
team with tickets.
And then from there, you take a step like you put out, because digital media is so awesome today,
Yeah.
you put out a post right away. Listen, if we don't get any pre-registrations of guarantees,
Yeah.
this is going to be off the schedule for this upcoming week. Just
Yeah,
so
that
you-
would be definitely part of the plan, is that you'd have to communicate. Like I said before, the thing was, I would say, hey, we're going to have, if you don't have this number car count average at the end of the year, so that everyone's on notice. It's not,
Right.
hey, I just thought of it today when I saw 2 of you here that I'm going to decide not to have a race. Like,
Yeah,
everyone
right.
would kind of know what the deal is.
Yeah, it's
beforehand.
listen, you're absolutely right. I'm on the other side of the
Yeah,
fence
right.
from you, bad.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but I agree with you though.
Yeah.
Like you can't have a 2-horse race.
Yeah, and there is 2 perspectives to this.
But you can't have a
scenario.
2-horse race. But I think you could have a 4 or 5-horse race.
Yeah.
It
You
almost
could be
happened in
right.
the late models.
Well, that was my example with the Dennis Gator story with Kathy Savardi and Lisa Vogelsong. That was a 4-car race.
Right.
And 2 of them gave us something to watch.
Imagine if you had 4 cars and one of those guys was Johnny Brower. It'd be a great show. Right?
All right, that was good.
Was it good?
Yeah. I
That
thought
was
so.
fun.
Yep.
You go on and on all night about that.